Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Bay. Doing a little bit different video today. It's a video response to Schoon's comics, who asked the question, what 3 comics made you a collector? What got you invested? What got you hooked? And it's a video idea that I've been wanting to do for a while anyway, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to go for it. I'm going to leave a link to Schoon's comics, which is a great channel by the way, in either my comments or my description. One of the two, I'll figure out how to do that. I'm kind of new to YouTube, making videos and stuff. Haven't been doing it very long. Anyway, so right off the bat, my first comic that got my foot in the water, X-Men Adventures, Volume 2, Issue 6. This came out in July of 1994, one of my favorite years. And I've been playing the X-Men video game for Sega Genesis a lot. And this Gambit was my favorite. And this comic had Gambit, so I bought it. Now this thing sat on the newsstand for probably 2 or 3 months before I popped on it. But it was from a local grocery store. You could buy comic books in a grocery store. Ideal Market, Superior, Nebraska. I bought this guy. Anyway, bought a couple other issues with it, but this was the one that made me purchase. And I read it hundreds of times probably. I have multiple issues of it. And even when I had sold out of comics and got rid of my whole collection, I never sold this one. I saved it back. So I have the original issue that I bought in the newsstand, even today. That's number 1. Now I read X-Men Adventures for a few months until, and I had been dabbling with comics, and I was very into X-Men, but I wanted to get into the real X-Men universe. X-Men Adventures kind of existed in its own little world, and based on the cartoon show and everything like that, I wanted the comic book universe, but that's a hard place to start in. So one Sunday when we were getting ready to go to my grandma's house, my parents were going to leave me there. It was going to be like 4 days. This was in January. January in Nebraska and Kansas is very cold. And so it was a long weekend at grandma's. These were on the newsstand at Ideal Market in Superior, Nebraska. They are $2.95 a cover. That was a lot of money to me. But the pages were glossy inside. The covers were chromy, the art was fantastic, and it featured 2 of my favorite characters from X-Men Adventures. And I popped on these, I bought these, and it was so much money at the time. My mom was like, $3 a comic? That's a lot. Anyway, bought these, ended up staying at my grandma's house for like 4 days. Couldn't go outside and play, it was cold, it was crappy, and I read these 2 books over and over and over. Just completely obsessed with them. To this day, Rogue and Bishop are still 2 of my favorite X-Men of all time, my favorite comic book characters of all time. And I read these comics dozens and dozens of times over that 4 days. Between games of Uno with Grandma and Totino's Party Pizzas, it was these. I couldn't get enough of them. And that's why, even to this day, that's why there's still comics in my house. That's why I'm still a collector. There was phases where I got rid of all my books or tried to get rid of all my books for different reasons and came back to collecting. And right now I'm dealing with Collection 2.0 here, and it's bigger and better than it's ever been in my life. And it basically all goes back to these 3 books and those characters. That's why I'm a collector. And that's why I've still got stuff. That's why I still buy stuff. That's my story. I'll catch you guys later.